Hey Happy Crew, HappiDaze here. In today's video, we're going to get into Day 2 and Day 3 of Grand Party for the season. Unfortunately, I didn't record a Day 1 video just because it was kind of late. Just want to get it done, get my 3 wins, and get out. But we'll break it down, the different matches today, go show you what our strategy is. For this season, you have a debuff to really both the Int and the PSY leaders. Int gets hit with a -2 to their GP leader burst, PSY with -1, basically trying to take out the Gear 5 Luffys that have been running crazy for the last 6-7 seasons that are out there. So it's going to be really tough the last probably 2 days where you can't really see teams. It's a lot easier the first 3 days where you can actually see teams, do some team building. So yeah, we're going to show you what those matches look like, kind of go through our strategies that we're going to go through. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit just so that these videos are a little bit shorter since we're putting both Day 2 and Day 3 into one video. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So starting off the first match, we're going to go ahead and choose a captain that's going to be a non-burst captain. Obviously, as I mentioned, the top unit here is a blue team. He has 3 bursts with his Luffy. Middle team only has 1 burst with his PSY, so that's why I'm going after this team. I do have a DEX team to kind of help take out that quick team that he has, then having my strength team go second, just because they're super awesome at just destroying everything with the film red Gear 5 Luffy here. So coming into this first match, there's really not too much to be scared of. The kind of the game plan going into this fight was to be able to have my Blackbeard really do the huge HP cut, have the Kaido do the massive hit, have Dofi do the damage over time. Pell with his level limit break is absolutely insane for doing damage. Big Mom does damage to defense. And we just have some units on the back there, just to kind of help us get to the bottom half of the fight if we have to. Against quick teams, you should never really have to have worry about that back bench if you have a DEX team. They can hit super hard. So you're probably wondering, why am I using the Shanks captain this scenario? And the reason I really do that is because all you have to do to get his special ready is use 5 of your own specials. And the benefit there is that you get to be able to go ahead and use the burst to be able to basically give a CT increase to a bunch of your units, depending, of course, on the class that they are. But this works really well for slashers, for the DEX team, and especially if you're doing like a slasher on slasher match, it really helps having that burst out there to be able to use, get your slashers to go before theirs go, and hopefully your slashers, if you have the Roger Whitebeard or have the new Roger Rayleigh and Gabon unit, you can go ahead and use them to go ahead and do that. So you saw first match was pretty easy, pretty straightforward. This is kind of just a almost randomly generated team over here. There's really not a lot of synergy between all these units. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and just absolutely wipe them out. We get the haste with the Kobe unit. He just kind of helps us out really good right there. HP cut with Jack to steal it up. And really what we do against these teams is just wait for Luffy to go off. And Luffy just goes ham. You can see right there, he just took out like 6 units himself. So yeah, not any worries here. We're going to use one of my captain bursts just because I have them and I have 3. And I want to be able to, have them, or at least use them before the second match is up. And that should be enough to hopefully secure us the win for match number 2 of the day. You love to see it. This strength team, if you're facing any DEX team, just absolutely melts them. Even with some of the newer units that just came out, you don't have to worry at all. So you can see, not wasting specials here. Just some of my guys get the kill to go ahead and secure us win number 4 for the day, or for the GP season. So let's go ahead and get into the next match, see what we can do. For the second match today, we're going to go ahead and take on a non-burst captain. We did change our captain from the second match, or from the first match, I should say, to this Kaido. I think going forward, he's probably one of the better leaders that you can use. Obviously, as you saw in the previous video, the G5, the blue G5, the quick G5, actually does pretty good damage. But I think overall, based on what I've tested and what I've seen so far, this quick Kaido is just absolutely insane for what he can do. He can do the force out, he can do damage to defense, you only have to take 45,000 damage, so it makes him really valuable. So in this first match, I don't have to worry at all because, as I mentioned, it's a non-burst captain, so no worries there. So what I was really focused on doing was just, killing and getting through the stages as quick as I can, get my special charge, that way in battle number 2, you can just go ahead and use the Kaido special, hopefully wipe out a good amount of their board, and basically get an easy win to get number 5 for the day. I did take a little bit of an HP cut from the unit that I had there, the Shanks unit there. One thing to note as you're going through these matches, and what I found just through playing for the last couple days, you have to be really careful if you go up against a Kaido captain. One, because he gets 3 total burst times, which is kind of insane for what he can do, and the fact that you get the special charge by taking damage, right? So you can imagine how it's really, really easy to get that triggered and get it, done on you maybe once on the first match and maybe up to 2 times on the second match, right? So you do have to be really careful if you're fighting that Kaido unit. What you want to make sure you do if you are fighting a Kaido unit or a Kaido leader team is really make sure that whatever team goes first, that you could hopefully kill them really quick. And that's where a team like this, like the Strength team, comes in really handy, because you can pretty much wipe out their whole team, where even if they use the burst, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, if you're having a team that's sticking around for a long time, you're probably going to take a burst, or at least 2 from a opposing Kaido captain. So let's go ahead and use the special right here. Boom, forces out 2, does a hit to the rest. And yeah, at that point, it's pretty much GG's at this point. The Gear 5 Luffy's going to come in and just absolutely wipe them out and go ahead and hopefully secure win number 2 for us today to bring up to a total of 5 wins. Kenu's just come back from getting forced out, so let's just kill him real quick. And the other 2 forced out units just came back, which is fine. Like I said, there's no chance that they're going to beat us here. It's just a prolonging kind of the inevitable. And there we have it. That gets us our second win for the day. Brings us up to 5 wins, 1 step closer to 6. So let's go ahead and see what the third match of the day looks like. So we're going to go ahead and fight another non-burst captain. We could have fight the Shanks. It looks like it was a DEX team at the top. Could have had our Strength team go and take them on, and then probably would have been okay. But when you're trying to get wins and trying to, especially towards the last couple days, when you just want to make sure you don't have to use retries, you just take the free, easy victory. And that's why at the end of the day, it's so critical that you guys go ahead and change your teams to an auto-edited team. So just have one of your slots, right? You get 8 different slots you can use to store teams for Grand Party. Just have one, just a not great auto-completed team. And just set that at the end of the day, just to give everyone a chance to get those 15 wins. There's no reason not to. It's just the community strategy to help everyone out. So just make sure that you go ahead and do that. So facing some units here on this DEX team, really, you can just see the slashers just absolutely destroyed them with the combination of the Odin and the Hawk. And yeah, it's just insane how much damage they do. As I mentioned, in cases like this where it's a auto-generated team, you can see our burst gauge doesn't charge very much because we're not taking much damage. We're just kind of more dishing it out. So we'll see if we have our burst ready for fight number 2. Because this is an auto-generated team, and thank you for setting your team to this person who did that. Definitely appreciated to this guy right here. We probably won't even have a chance to use our burst because we're just going to do so much damage so quickly, they won't be able to really do much to us. So yeah, this season is a little bit more tricky, as I said at the kind of beginning of the video. You gotta watch out. Without having those bursts, it really does change up the gameplay. It does make things a lot more RNG dependent. So you just have to be a little bit careful when you're going in there. Just because, like I said, if you take a leader that maybe you're not familiar with, you usually typically see people have the int or the side G5 Luffy. If you don't have people who have that, and then you have strategies that are kind of based around that, and the int G5 special and even the side G5 special are pretty broken, right? So not having those, people might not be as familiar. So just make sure that before you actually get into the matches, you're checking your opponent's leader. If you're not sure exactly what they do, checking what the condition is to activate that, so you know kind of what you have to do to reduce the risk of that triggering, and that will just get you a little bit closer to taking it out. So this is the new team that I've been kind of using that I really like. It's a Free Spirit team. With the new Roger Rayleigh Gabon, it just makes it that much crazier. You can see I ended up using this special rumble that the Roger Rayleigh Gabon has that does a little bit more damage and can give a heal back to 100% HP. So like it's pretty crazy. Before I used to like to use the Robin and Koala unit in this spot, but now he just fits so perfect. It makes it so much better. That even I've seen people use this team against, for example, the int team, the meta int team, and still be able to win, which is kind of nuts considering that, outside of this season, like the meta int team is absolutely insane. So that's going to give us our win, our third win for the day, bring us up to 6 wins. So let's go ahead and get into, the match number 1 of the third day, get up to 7 wins. So for match number 7, we're going to go ahead and take on this Pell unit here. I could have took on that Luffy in the second spot there, that Psy Luffy, but I think the one thing that kind of worried me there is they still have 1 burst, right? Whereas this Pell obviously doesn't have a burst. So against their DEX team, we're going to go ahead and use our Strength team that you've seen the whole way there. Like I said, once you get through their front bench, there's really not much to be worried about there. We are again using the Shanks leader here, just because of the ability for him to be able to give us some special CT. It helps, especially if you have the season where the decks get a buff to their CT. It'll just let you be able to go, a lot of times before your opponent. The gameplay strategy here was to really save it for the second match where I'd have my slashers going if I had to. That way you can go ahead and be able to, if you have a slasher versus slasher match, you're able to basically easily get your slashers off before their opponents get their slashers off. Usually most times that results in you being able to just wipe out most of their front line, and then from there on it's pretty easy to go ahead and kill them. So let's go ahead and just, wrap up this fight pretty quickly with just 3 units left in the back. There's really not much that they can do to really hurt us or, do any damage to us at this point. We have to head and have Kobe just come in. He does some damage, does some haste, and we're just going to go ahead and just attack pretty quickly. Blackbeard's really here, just an additional HP cutter. Obviously, we have Jack, who does 50% HP cut, but the Blackbeard just does so much more damage there. And boom, just like that, we're able to easily get through the match number 1 there. As I mentioned, match number 2 is Slashers versus Slasher. It's a full Slasher team. It's not a auto-generated Slasher team there, and they do have the Giants on their team too. So I just want to be careful here. And they have the Shanks, who gives a bunch of shields as well. So the ability to just launch a special right away will be able to just give me that CT. And hopefully, once all these 5 units go, hopefully the Zoro Sanji boosts people to the front, and of course that will allow basically the special to re-trigger itself again. So I can just keep giving myself basically a 20% CT reduction every time. It's a pretty good strategy. I think, as you'll see when I go to some of the other videos that we have today, I do switch back my leader to Kaido just because I think he can do a lot more in terms of just the raw damage that Kaido can do. But yeah, this Shanks is actually not that bad of a leader. Even with the debuff to the season's burst, he still gets to use it 3 times, which is kind of insane. So just an alternative if you're looking for a non-Kaido captain to use, that's an option as well. So you can see my guys are able to go, their teams are wiped out. At this point, it's just a matter of just, finishing off the job there. But you can see, our Slasher team pretty much took maybe a quarter of their health, but it was pretty straightforward and pretty easy to go ahead and pick up that win for match number 2 and get us 1 step closer to getting 9 wins. So let's just quickly get our rewards, and then we'll go ahead and hop into the number 8 match. So going into our match here, unfortunately we have 2 Sai G5s and a Kaido. In this case, we'll take the Sai G5s any day because they get the debuff there to only have 1 burst. So what the strategy that I'm doing going into here is be able to beat them quickly with my DEX team on the front end, which will prevent their G5 Luffy from being able to get charged. And basically, this sounds like a weird strategy, but it works pretty well. I'm going to use that second team as a sacrificial team, right? Basically a team that will just be able to take the burst. That way, going into the 3rd match, I will have my Shanks completely charged. And then, it will be able to do that 20% CT reduction to my Slasher team there for match number 3 and be able to kind of easily get through there. So sacrificing the middle team to be able to go ahead and get the W, but sometimes you have to do that. And as I mentioned, because this team is just so much has this type of advantage against the DEX team, the quick team, it just melts them pretty quickly. Big Mom's gonna go do her damage and just goes crazy. Pell, again, hits like an absolute tank this season, and the combination of both Pell and Kaido are going to just absolutely wipe the floor with all the guys that are left here. Now, we did lose Dofi, not a big deal. We have Sanji to come in on the back end anyway, but like I said, yeah, not worried at all. Boom, took out a bunch of their units. I think at this point, their special charge gauge for the Sai G5 Luffy captain was only about like 30%. So I knew that it would get triggered in that second match. It was just a matter of going ahead and let it go. And so I actually decided to swap it up a little bit and change the middle and the bottom teams here. So I am going to have my Slasher team here, Slasher versus Slasher. I think when I went through this, my thought process was, wait, if I use my, my ability here, I might be able to get a dub pretty straightforward, pretty easily here. So, but you'll see, I'm just chugging along, doing my thing. Slasher versus Slasher. Now, if I wanted to, if I would have used, if I would have went ahead and used my leader burst at the beginning, I could have probably used it twice. But sorry, I thought it was actually the G5 leader. It's actually the DEX Kaido Leader. Don't know why I chose that. Probably wasn't the smartest option to choose that DEX Kaido Leader. You can see he does the force out, and then that's just not fun at all. So the DEX Kaido Leader takes, you'll get the charges special by doing the damage. So yeah, that's always something to watch out for. They get 3 bursts, as I mentioned. They use 1 in the first match and 1 in the second match. What we really want to do here is be able to kind of wipe these guys out before they can really do much. Their back bench has really nothing to worry about there, but we are going to do just a ton of damage when our Luffy goes, so that's what we just want to be careful with. So we'll go ahead and use our charge right at the beginning. Boom, it'll give us that 20% CT increase, which is awesome. We'd love to see that. Just like Jax go quicker, be able to do the 50% HP quicker. Let's Kobe go quicker to be able to do the haste, and then Luffy can just hit like a tank there. And you can see it, just the fact of charging here specials recharges that captain ability, and boom, you can see we're already back with that captain ability. So once Luffy goes, I'm just going to use the captain ability again. Like I said, give myself more special CT, and just be able to kind of get through the rest of this. We do have 1 more burst we're going to have to take because we did more than 45,000 damage. They're going to have their Kaido special charge, so that's just something that we have to, be careful for and watch out for. Not that we really have to worry too much per se, but you just want to, be careful with what's happening there. And this should end it right here. Boom. There you go. Kobe wrapping up the match for today. That gives us 8 wins. Brings us 1 closer to number 9. Love to see that. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what the match looks like for number 9. So for number 9, we're going to go ahead and choose this PSY Luffy captain. That's why I got the captains mixed up there. But yeah, we're going to face the PSY Luffy captain just because it's much easier than facing a Kaido captain, as you saw in the last match. It really wasn't too close, but it's a lot more riskier. As I mentioned, they only have 1 burst here, so really the game plan is going to be destroy their quick team that they have at the front with our DEX team, very similar to what happened last match. Take that burst on the second match, consider that a loss, and then basically save everything for match number 3. We'll have the Kaido special ready to go. We'll have our slasher team out there ready to kind of go as well. It should be easy once we kind of sacrifice that middle team to go ahead and get the W there. Kaido with the damage, Dofi with the damage. Yeah, so at this point, they only have 3 units left. Really nothing they can do. Blackbeard with the HP cut. Big Mom should pretty much wrap this up when she goes. And you can see the unfortunate part here is that because we killed them so quickly, our burst gauge didn't charge, right? So that's kind of the danger there. So we know that their third team isn't obviously going to be either a quick team or a side team. Could be a strength team, could be a slasher team, but either way, if we have 1 Kaido special charged and ready to go, even if we have to take another burst or during that final fight, we'll have our Kaido get charged again just to kind of guarantee that win. So having 2 charges for that final fight is super critical for being able to take out these units. So get the haste there, bring everyone to the top. Jackson do the perfect HP cut at the right time. Luffy's going to come in and just absolutely melt everyone, and that will just give us a really easy victory. Backbench comes in. Like I said, not a worry at all about any of the units back there. We know that because they haven't been doing too much damage to us that their Luffy isn't charged. But boom, you can see that we took a nasty shot there. So just to be safe, we're just going to use the special here. It just makes it a little bit easier, a little bit safer to go ahead and get through that. And because we took that shot, boom, we're able to use it again. So you can see the game plan was to originally just take a burst on that second match. Didn't happen because we were able to get so much damage so quickly. And boom, just like that, we don't have to use our slash team for the final match, and we get our wins for the day. So that brings us to 9 out of 9. again, tomorrow's where it starts getting really tricky. You start losing teams, as you saw in that last match. You lose the ability to see the final team, and then you lose more as days go on. So make sure at the end of the day you go ahead and set your party leader to a non-burst captain, preferably a full auto-edit team. That way there's very little synergy. It's pretty easy for everyone to get through. Makes everyone's life a lot easier. So that's going to wrap it up for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below how your fights went. You know, how are you finding the season? Is it more difficult than other seasons? Are you adjusting pretty well? And if there's any unexpected units that you thought are now the MVP that maybe you didn't see shine before, I'd love to hear from it. Until next time, be kind to each other.